Hi, I'm Alicia and welcome to the Mintay YouTube channel. Today I'm making a Birdcage album with the beautiful Mintay Graceful Papers and also the Birdcage Chippy album. I'm going to take you step by step through the process of how I created the album so that you can do it at home as well. So let's get started. So for our tutorial today, we are using this beautiful Birdcage album and the gorgeous Graceful Papers by Mintay. And these papers are truly stunning. One of my favorite collections. I love the colors, I love the flowers. We're going to start deciding where we would like to position our little pages. So it depends whether you want a highly decorated background page or whether you want a minimally decorated background page. I'm going for highly decorated, so it's a very busy page that I've chosen. These papers though, you know, you've got the choice depending on what you prefer for your album. You could choose like this one here, there's not as many decorations on that, or you could choose the striped side. So there's a lot of variation in the papers and it depends on what sort of photos that you're using or how much embellishment you would like to add into your little album. So I just went around with a pencil and traced the edges of the chipboard to find my pages, to create my pages. And then I just glued those on to both sides so that each side of the chipboard is decorated in gorgeous Mintay papers. Now if I had any excess paper, I just got a pair of scissors and just trimmed that off. That wasn't a problem. So here are all my pages. And now I'm working on the front cover of my album. Now I made this album before Mintay brought out their beautiful paints. And now when I colour a Mintay album, I use the creative chalk paint. But this I made quite a while ago and I'm just inking the edge of the album, which is an option. It's a great option that can be, you can use to colour your album. It's quick drying. It does tend to destroy your ink pad, so you sort of have to sacrifice an ink pad for the project because of the rough edges of the chipboard. The ink pad is pretty well done by the time you've made this sort of a project. But this particular ink pad was on its last legs anyway, and very inexpensive to buy, so I wasn't too worried. So the next thing I did was I glued the back of the Birdcage onto the first page of the album. So just putting glue there and then sticking that on so that you can see the beautiful paper through the Birdcage. Then I chose some ribbon and I just threaded the ribbon through that little circular hole at the top of the Birdcage album and I tied that into a bow. I left enough room so that the pages can easily open. There we go. So this is quite a quick and easy project. Now it's ready for decoration. I wanted to make the front of the album quite embellished. So I chose some beautiful prima flowers, some lace, some crinkly ribbon, and I created a little cluster of embellishments. I also used a little fussy cut flower from the papers, and I just popped that all together into a big floral cluster on the front. Then I decided to add some kindy glitz or some glitter glue all around the edges of the birdcage on top of the purple ink, so that it created a glittery effect. And this was very pretty and very effective. Now is the time for adding photographs. Now for this album, I decided that I wanted to use some positive quotes for my album in the place of photographs. So I went through and selected my positive quotes that I wanted to use, and I printed them out on my little HP sprocket. You can see that one is coming out there now. It's just a little handheld printer that you can use for photos. I trimmed these little quotes down a bit so that they would fit perfectly into the frames on the number 6 page in the 12 by 12 scrapbooking paper set. Here's my little frame, and there's my little quote. These photos have a little sticker backing, so you just peel that sticker backing off, and then you can stick the photograph or the quote straight down onto the paper. Some of the quotes I chose not to cut down to the size of a frame, and I just placed them on exactly as they are. I fussy cut out these beautiful floral clusters and some of the elements from the fussy cutting sheet, and I layered them onto the page in the scrapbook album, and then I added the little sticker on top. So this became a little album, a little gratitude album with some beautiful quotes in it that you could flick through to cheer yourself up, basically. Or if you needed some inspiration, you could flick through and read your quotes and just enjoy the beautiful words that are on here. And so I just layered these little elements onto each of the pages, and I just had fun with layering Corolla's beautiful designs basically onto the page. I didn't use any recycled paper, cardboard or double-sided tape because I wanted the pages of the album to stay flat. Sometimes it felt a little bit sad to be covering up the beautiful pictures that were underneath, and sometimes I wish that I had have used more plainer papers because it felt disappointing to cover those up, but it's all just a matter of layering and adding pretty things to an already pretty design. And I just played around with the positioning of the elements because I love layering images and different fussy cutting images onto paper. That's like one of my favorite things to do. And so I just continued happily layering papers and layering quotes, and some of these quotes, all of these quotes really have just beautiful positive messages, And a lot of these are emailed to me or messaged to me daily from one of my special friends. And it's just lovely to be able to read something positive daily, and it helps, I think, to just keep you in a positive frame of mind. So I think it would be nice to just create a little album of positive quotes that you can flick through when you feel like you need a little pick-me-up. So I think this is my last page now. But of course, if you didn't want to use quotes, you could easily just pop a little photo into this album and it would look beautiful as well. Or even like a little piece of artwork that you might have drawn, like a little ATC card or something, or a little bookmark. Or you could just leave the album blank and give it to a friend. You don't have to fill an album with photographs if you don't want to. So there we go, there's the pages all finished now. Seeing whether that one would work there, but it didn't really, and I decided to add just a little quote on the front. And I took my quote from the sticker sheet, the Mintay sticker sheet that coordinated with this collection, and I used the sentiment "Start each day with a grateful heart," my little gratitude album, and I just cut that up a little bit to fit into my design. Just played around a little bit with where I wanted it to sit until I was happy with the position. And then I just glued that down so that it was really, really secure on the front of the album. That's looking so cute. And then my last little embellishment for my album was just to use some of these tiny little plastic flowers. They've sort of got a little bit of sparkle to them. They're kind of pearl in colour, and I thought that this might just add a little bit of glamour to the front of my album, and I just sort of positioned those randomly across the birdcage. And that is my completed album. It's a little quote album or a little gratitude album made with the gorgeous Mintay Papers and the gorgeous Birdcage Chippy. And that concludes our beautiful Birdcage album with the Mintay Graceful Papers. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. I thank you very much for watching. Can you please make sure that you are subscribed to the Mintay Papers YouTube channel. I hope you have a lovely crafty day.